Well, my story began, I better pull it out after having the instructions. In 1964, when I arrived in this country in October from England, I joined Rotary in 1975, and I became president in 89 and 90, which, as any other past president will tell you, is a wonderful honor and a great experience. It started off in the normal way, but then a bang occurred, the Loma Prieta earthquake. And I was planning to start our first auction for our local foundation. The earthquake occurred, excuse me, so I called a meeting of 4 or 5 of us, and Ray Gilmore being one of those members, and he chaired the first auction event, which we dedicated for earthquake relief. From that luncheon to the day we put on the auction, which was on a Thursday night in this room, 30 days. Just 30 days. And those of you who have been to our events and put on events, that's pretty remarkable. And I still think about that. We raised $34,000. It was partially helped by the Holiday Inn donated the room and the food. And one of the fun things was all the past presidents dressed as Santas. It was in November. So they were the waiters dressed as Santas. Lot of fun. We had good times. We raised an additional $30,000 plus for earthquake relief that year. And we gave $25,000, as I remember, I believe, to the American Red Cross. And the balance we gave to Watsonville Rotary Club, because most of the emphasis seemed to be on San Francisco, and they had a lot of problems down there. So that's where a lot of our money went. And all total in my year, with international donations, crab feed monies raised, and so forth, we raised about $130,000, as I recall. It was a good year. Another fun thing that we did, we started the first mystery night. When I was at the PETS conference, which is the president's initial education program they have for a weekend, the San Leandro incoming president told me that they had 2 or 3 nights a year when they'd have these mystery nights. And they're a lot of fun. So I asked John Lynn if he would chair this, and we ended up getting on a bus, having a wonderful dinner, and ending up at the Circle Star Theater in San Carlos to see a Frank Sinatra concert. It was really a fun night. In 1990, I asked our foundation board, which I'd been a member from the beginning, if they would agree to us having the Livermore Valley Club, our morning club, join us on our foundation. And that occurred in 1990. It made sense. Terry Crane was president, and our club membership during my year was 110 plus or minus, and it seemed to be that way for quite a while until we kicked it more recent times. Finally, I'm very proud mostly of the new members that I brought into the club. My brother Paul, of course, John Lynn, both past presidents, and more recently, Ryan Renard, one of our youngsters, and Howard Wilson. And so, in closing, just to say, those of you who don't know, I was born in Worcester, as of course was my brother. Do you know how many people in our club were born in Worcester? Anyone tell me? 3. Marty Plum, because he's a Worcester, Massachusetts.
Good. Thank you, Mike. Paul Thompson, we have an induction.
Can't hear you.
Tell him to speak into the microphone.
There's Mr. Moron there. Come on, Bob. It's my pleasure today to induct our latest member of our club, Mr. Bob Jacobs. Robert Jacobs. You go by Rob or Bob? Bob. I always like to clarify that. So if I can have the members of the board come up, please, and also his sponsor. And is that better?
Yes.
Really? Okay. He doesn't have a mentor because he's already been a member and he knows everything about the club and he knows everything about Rotary. And if he doesn't know one or two things, he's not bashful and he will be asking some questions. Right, Bob? Okay. The overarching purpose of all Rotarians is to improve the lives of people on this planet of ours. We do this in many ways. For example, in the next few weeks, this club, together with members of the Morning Club, are to begin a house renovation project. And in early June, with Peter Paulson, wherever he is, he's here, I think. So if you want to work on it, go and see Peter. And in early June, the majority of our members, I think a good 60 or 70%, usually participate in the Livermore Rodeo Parade, making it the Livermore Rotary Parade. Bob is an attorney specializing in real estate, business and construction law. His office is in Pleasanton, and if I remember correctly, please correct me if I'm not, if I remember correctly, you used to have a column in the local paper.
Still do.
You still do? I haven't taken a local paper for 5 years. So maybe I should now, Bob, should I? Start reading your column? Is it once a month?
Once a week.
Once a week?
Once a week.
The Tri-Valley Times?
Yeah.
Okay. And he talks about real estate investments, I suppose, on a regular basis. That's the gist. Oh, I didn't realize it's still there. So Bob, as a former member of this club, you are already aware of some of our activities, and now as a returning member, you're invited to once again become involved with the activities of this club and Rotary in general. Our club members, I am proud to say, work on many projects, so committee heads, please don't be shy and look to Bob to include him in one of our many projects, one of our many teams. Remember, improving lives is not just about working on projects, it's about developing relationships, both personal and, I put default here, but really not. Rotary was started really as a business connection organization a million years ago. And so we developed relationships from a personal point of view, but also from a business point of view. Shouldn't forget that. Bob, I want to let you know about a fun activity coming up on May the 17th. We are having our GGB walk, our Golden Gate Bridge walk. We've done this for, I don't know how long. John Shirley and I started, I don't know, or John mainly, what, 25 years ago, 20 years ago? I think it is that long. It's a fun, I'm getting senile, says my brother.
Is that a red badge activity? Did you get a check off box?
No, it's
he's
not
already
a
a blue
magic.
badge.
We could make it one though. Anyway, it's on May the 17th. It's a walk. We've reduced the distance this time, and we're actually going a different way over the bridge. We're going from Sausalito this time over to Fort Point area and Chrissy
I got a
Field.
question. How do you change the bridge?
Shorten the bridge?
You shorten it a bit. It only goes
I
halfway
only go
across.
one way.
Perpendicular, Paul?
Yeah.
I'm getting the nod from our president here that I'm slowing down. Yeah. So please, no more interruption, Attorney Stein. Anyway, we will end up that evening at the San Francisco Crab Restaurant, looking over the bay, having a glass of wine, and having a great meal. So please, Debbie is selling the tickets over there today, so please sign up. We've got about space for another 10 or so people. The sponsors this year are John Shirley, myself, Dale Miller, Hagel Manuelian, and TJ Gilmartin. So thank us all for putting this on, okay? So, we have some clothing, hardware I call it, for you, Bob, and for you to wear with pride, a badge, and a pin, and a hat. I never got a hat. Would you get me a hat, please? Bob? Anyway, please, everybody, welcome Bob Jacobs.
So I want a picture with, since I'm the sponsor, please.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
there we go.
Okay, get a picture. Smile both of you.
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Perfect, perfect.
Welcome back. Thank you. Chris Ising.
We're going to get you this.
Chris here somewhere? Yeah. Yes.
Chris is going to give us an old Chris is giving an old new member talk. It's effectively the talk he gave when he first joined Grove.
No, you better hope not. I'd be leaving right now. I'm a fourth generation Livermorean. I was born at St. Paul's Hospital, if you know where that is, on J and 8th Street, it's a corner. Went to 5th Street School, East Avenue, Livermore, and then on to Livermore High School, where I was the last whole class to graduate from Livermore High School. The next year was Granada and Livermore graduating. I went on to New Mexico Military Institute, where I was a swimmer and I swam in high school too. But I also got to know a bunch of cowboys down there. That's when I made the mistake of riding a bull, just once. From there, I went to the University of Denver. And while I was in New Mexico, I also was a waiter in the mess hall. In Denver, I worked at a place called Celebrity Sports Center, which was owned by Walt Disney. Came home, first day I got home, guess what? Worked for Culligan Water, my father's business. We at that time, all we had was water softeners. They were hanging in the tanks you see hanging off the trucks today. We've expanded that into, and that was just in the Tri-Valley and Fremont. We now cover Alameda, Contra Costa, San Joaquin, and Calaveras counties. Wow. We have water softeners, reverse osmosis units, deionization, home filtration, bottled water service. We have purified drinking and spring waters. We service all of the dealers in Northern California with our water. That was one of my big conquers. Several years ago when they put in that parking lot next door, they had to move the parking lot over several feet to accommodate the semis that go in and out of our place. That was kind of fun. I actually grew up on a ranch on Mines Road, so I've had horses all my life. I helped my mother with her cattle. She was a cattleman. My father was a businessman. So in my 30s, it was only natural that she and I went up and took over the Walker Ranch up on Cedar Ridge. It's over 6,000 acres we put together with different leases from other people. And we also ran cattle over at the N3 Cattle Company, at one time totaling 12,000 acres we had. What else? So I've been lucky to have helped other cattlemen around. As you know, we all get together for brandings and stuff and help each other. And one of the people that I helped out was the guy who helped me out more than him. I helped him was a guy named George Cardoza, which is Sheila Faldiano's father. That was exciting.
That's another story, huh?
She and I keep saying we're going to get together and compare notes, but I think she's afraid to. She might learn too much. In the year 2000, when the South Livermore Valley Plan was put together, I got an opportunity to get water to come to our ranch, and so I made the decision to put in pistachios, not grapes, not olives. I didn't like, because of the acreage I was putting in, I didn't like the economics of either one. I figured I'd have to put in a winery with the grapes, and I just wasn't going to do that. And the other crop we could have put in was figs. I don't like figs. So 8 years later, to the first crop, we finally found out, yep, pistachios will work in Livermore. So there's now 3 other orchards. I have the only producing orchard in the valley. So I guess that makes me president of the Livermore Valley Pistachio Association. This year is extremely challenging. I was talking to some friends in the valley the other day, and there's no cherries. Kiss yourself goodbye on cherries. It's not waiting. The trees are coming out over a full month period. Usually it's about 2 weeks. This year they're still coming out. The males are inconsistent. We don't know what's going to happen. This weather's been so goofy. Joined Rotary in 1972. Russ Bargman was the sponsor. I worked on the crab feed. I chaired the crab feed bar. Paul and I did that together a few times. I don't know how many times I was president of crab feed. I chaired the fall barbecue. I did years doing the cow flop. Cow flop or cowboy bingo. It's where we put a square out and corralled off an area. marked off spots, and where that cow pooped was when you won, that's the version of one you wore. You know, I knew the cow quite well, but she never hit my spot. I remember putting up the lights at the rodeo grounds. I was on the board of directors. I was chairman with Niall Runge, I don't know, 4 or 5 years now?
4 or 5.
4 or 5. I've been sergeant in the arms. I worked on the front door for years. A lot of stuff. Remember, I have a lot of good memories. We were talking about it earlier today. I was the president of the Pacific Water Quality Association. I was president of the California Alameda Contra Costa Cattlemen's Association. I was chairman of the Valley Study Group. A lot of you know that for 2 years. I'm currently now vice president of the California Bottled Water Association. Married Patty in 1982. We had been introduced at 24 and hated each other. Got back together. I have one daughter, Christelle. She's 30. She works for me, and she's a professional can chaser, which means she's a barrel racer in the rodeos. She also ropes and competes in all other things. She won the Wild Cow Milking 3 years ago. I've raced cars at Sears Point, autocrossed all over Laguna Seca. I've worked cattle ranches in Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, and Oregon. I team roped and local rodeos. I was a tour leader between Acapulco and Mexico City for 6 months. That was fun. And lastly, does anybody here who worked at the lab remember 30-something years ago going on a train ride, the Sierra Railroad from Jamestown down to Oakdale and back up? Somebody's one? Where? Do you remember? Were you on that trip? Yeah. I was your bartender.
Importantly, you know.
Thank you, Dave. Krista and his wife Patty are also the Community Service Award winners for the rodeo parade. Millie, how did the program go on Saturday?
Well, President Phil, we had a great time. Kristen and I, thank you. Thank you. The Senior Service Day, which we're calling this an annual service day, we had such a great time this year, and we had a lot of volunteers. Thanks. If I could have everybody stand up, I would just like to recognize everybody who helped this weekend. If you can stand up right now, and I'll just continue talking. We had, this is the first time we partnered with the Morning Club. We had 5 Rotarians from the Morning Club, and it's also the first time we partnered with Interactors. I don't know why we didn't think of that before. They're young, they can get on ladders, they can do a lot of things that we don't want to do. And so we had 6 Interactors help us as well. And that's our group right there, 35 people in all. I had 3/4 of my grandkids there, as well as my husband, which this is his first service project. He worked with Keith, and they had quite a challenging time. The good part about it is we helped 20 seniors do things that they find difficult to do. We got to vacuum, flip mattresses, pull weeds, do a lot of kitchen chores. Laura Mercy, she's not here today, but we, it was an experience, and we'll write more about it. But I just want to let you know that we've been doing this for at least 6 years, and we donate probably 150 hours every time we do it. So we're up over 800 hours in volunteer service time to the community for this project. And I would like you all to give a big hand to our volunteers.
Thank you, Millie. Tom Vargas. Where's Tom? There he is. Another old new member talk.
Oh, I'm old, I had to put my glasses on.
Smile.
So I was, like Chris, I was born at St. Paul's Hospital also. Just found out today that from John Shirley, it was the year after he arrived. I don't know if there was any relationship to that at all. I don't think so. So So I was born in I was born in 1955. So at St. Paul's Hospital. Went to St. Michael's School and then went to Granada High School. So graduated in 1973. Went off to Chico for a couple years and then San Jose State and graduated from there in 77. Married my wife in 1975, Cheryl. And we have 3 boys that are 33, 28, 26. Got 2 grandchildren. Have little Taylor, who lives in town with my oldest son and his wife. And then I just recently had a new granddaughter, little Reagan, who was born on April 2nd.
Oh,
And pretty exciting, you know, the Vargas family's growing. Kind of like, you know, Chris, that we had a long history. My family came to the Livermore Valley in around 1908, kind of settled in the Pleasanton area as ranchers and ultimately ended up out on Collier Canyon Road, right across the street from the Banke family. It was part of a number of ranches that kind of were broken off from an old ranch that was owned by a guy named Tom Carneal. And it's kind of neat. I actually have a picture of Paul's dad, Peter Banke, and my father, probably, you know, from the 30s, by an old combine where they used to have crews of men that would go around and work, and they were just young kids at that time. So, you know, that was always kind of part of my life. My father was a rancher and did that throughout his entire life and ended up, you know, kind of retiring, semi-retiring from the ranch. Spent a lot of time working on the ranch too as a kid, you know, going, just kind of doing all those things. I know my dad was a good buddy of Junior's, Sheila's father. That was his nickname. And there were a lot of wild stories I would hear about too. Let's see, I came into Rotary in 1980. Dale Turner brought me in. And at that time we were meeting at the ranch. Al Lewis was the president at the time. And I think the big things going on then were, I know there was a Mel Tillis concert. I remember we worked on the Stadium Life project back in those days. Through the years as a Rotarian, we built the houses. You know, I mean, there were a number of different projects, and it's been just a great opportunity to serve the community, and as a way to do that. Let's see. So in 1985, decided to get involved in politics and ran for city council. And so I was a city councilman, first elected in 1985, and served until '89. Got into one of Livermore's hot growth, no growth battles, lost my seat in 1989, and then was reelected again in 1991, and served until 2003 on the city council. I guess some of the things that I'm most proud of looking around Livermore, one was being there when we hired Mark Roberts. He was just a young planner in the mid-'80s, but you know what? He came on board and he was one of the first people who I remember having just a great new fresh attitude about our community. And he's carried that forward. And we worked through that whole South Livermore plan, which really is, I think, one of the jewels that most of us who served during that time are most proud of. It did a number of things in terms of really providing some quality housing, which Livermore had been lacking for a long, long time. But it also put it there in the wine industry for Livermore. And we have, you know, a sustainable number of vineyards and grapes that are there in perpetuity that created a market where, you know, wineries could actually be assured of investing and having a future. And it really has worked. The other thing that I worked real hard on was transportation issues and the Highway 84 issue and getting Highway 84 off of First Street, which was kind of the key to us taking back our downtown from the state of California. And, you know, during that time, gosh, you know, I was involved in the formation of Livermore Main Street, the Downtown Association, and just all those things. And I'm so proud of what's happened in our downtown and our community. It was obviously a lot of hard work from a lot of different people, and it's just amazing. It does my heart good when I hear people from Pleasanton say, we come to Livermore now as opposed to staying in Pleasanton. We like it better over here, you know, and it's just wonderful. in 1998, I was asked to go on the Valley Care Hospital Board of Directors and served until 2007. And that was, coming kind of out of a time where there had been a lot of turmoil with the hospital, and there was a failed John Muir merger, and there were a lot of things going on. We are once again finding new struggles. I'm sure you're reading about it, but that's just the nature, I think, healthcare, and it's always changing. I was asked to come back on the board in 2011, and I'm currently serving on the board of directors with a number of other good people. So professionally, I work for First American Title. I've been in the title business pretty much most of the time since I graduated from college. The last 20 years or so, I've focused primarily on working in a specialized segment with new home builders, and we work with them as they start acquiring property through the process of getting it mapped, doing the Bureau of Real Estate processing, all the way through when they're selling the homes to the new home buyers. And so it's just kind of a niche within the title insurance industry, and it's been good to me, and I've enjoyed working in it. I enjoy fly fishing. That's kind of one of my passions now. I enjoy skiing, still do over the years, and of course just the grandkids. And it is a wonderful community to be part of, and Rotary is a wonderful community to be part of. Thank you.
Moni Knob, we have a deadline coming up. Is Moni here? He left. Kathy?
Oh, he left, I saw him with that big shirt on. Anyway, next Wednesday is the, do I need this?
Yes.
Okay, next Wednesday is the deadline for the mini grants. Next Wednesday, 5 o'clock, in my hands, please. Bring me applications, mini grants, last one for the year. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Polly Smith, we're having a rodeo parade.
Yes, we are. And the parade's only about 6 weeks away. You should have got an email from me either last night or this morning about we're still looking for entries. We'd like to get more entries into the parade. So if you know someone who would like to be in the parade, or you'd like to coax your social or church or community group to get in the parade, we'd like that. Irv sent out invoices to our sponsors. Again, thank you for all the people who are sponsoring the parade, but that also means you need to get the money into us, to Irv. So if you haven't sent in your check, get it to Irv or get it to me. And we're expecting to have a really fun, great parade. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. JR.
All right, everyone. June 7th, that's the Spaghetti Western Feed and Dance. It's going to be a lot of fun, so buy a lot of tickets for your family, friends. You can see Debbie in the back. We have flyers also in the back. If you could, grab some on the way out, pass them around, post them up at your businesses or hand them out.
I understand you're actually going to have tickets this year.
We are. We're going to have tickets. They should be here today. We don't have them yet, but if you purchase your tickets right now with Debbie, she'll make sure to get those to you. It's going to be a lot of fun. I also have a board going around to sign up and help us out that night. It's going to be a quick, easy one as far as helping out, not a lot of work, so we have a good time doing that. Anything else?
Thank you,
Also,
JR.
Tonight, 5:15, we're having a planning meeting over at Travel Bug. If you could come by, help us out, give us some ideas, or just come and hang out and be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, JR.
You seen this?
President Bill.
Marty has an announcement.
Last month, there was an announcement from Barbara that there was a need for a new chairman for the program committee. And also, last month, I gave a little thought for the day on not being a rhino, being a not being a Rotarian in name only. And I'm proud to say one member did step up to become the chairman of the program committee, me. John Shirley always says there's any fool can get a free job, and I'm a living example of that. So, I'll be the program chairman. I would appreciate any suggestions that you have for potential programs. We want to keep them humorous and entertaining, and I'm looking forward to serving as your chairman. Thank you. The other thing I got to tell you though, my comment of me being born in Worcester, and it's true, I was born in Worcester, Massachusetts, but we pronounce it Wista. And that's how the W-I-S-T-A is the way it's pronounced there. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Marty.
Well, just quickly, in following up to what Marty has said, thank you, Marty, for volunteering. I have put surveys on the table for going forward in the upcoming year on, I have questions about the venue here and what you think of the place here, but also about the programs. If you have any programs that you'd be interested in hearing more about or wanting us to explore, please put them on your survey. Sheila's picking them up as they're filled out. And I would appreciate your feedback as we are forming the new board and getting together to talk about the future. Thanks. So fill them out. You can fill out more than one.
Thank you, Melanie. Sheila.
Yes, sir.
Your turn.
Oh, here you go.
Thanks for your feedback.
I'm multitasking, President. Okay. I'm posing right now. Oh, right over here. Okay.
Hello.
Okay. Oh. All right. I'm going to do a little talk on a mini grant that you so graciously donated to the Livermore High Ag Department. Because of your grant and the support of many people in this community, and some of which that are in this club, we were able to put on our first annual Ag Day at Livermore High School. I don't know, we've got some pictures. And you know, maybe this has something to do with it being involved in the community, but I too was born at St. Paul's Hospital, so maybe there's...
I didn't know you were that old.
Oh, there's my friend.
Then they closed it down.
Then they closed it down, oh boy. Anyway, where this came from, several years ago, there was actually my neighbor's daughter, Charles' sweet daughter, Jessica Sweet, wanted to put on an Ag Day at Livermore High. So they were kind of looking into it, and it's kind of an overwhelming task. An overwhelming task, because pretty much the school doesn't have extra money for those types of things, so you have to go out and do fundraising. So it kind of stalled for a couple of years, and last year I got together with another neighbor of mine, Tammy Vieira, and between her and the Sweet family, we got together and started organizing this Ag Day. Our goal was to invite all the third graders in Livermore to Livermore High School, and now they're incorporating a unit of Livermore history in the third grade. You know, they do California history in fourth grade, so now they're including a unit of Livermore history. So we thought, what a better opportunity to enrich our students with understanding how rich our agricultural history is in our beautiful community. I was overwhelmed by the support of many local ranchers and farmers, and again, some of which that are in this room, that were wonderful in supporting us. So what we did is we put together stations that touched pretty much every aspect of the agricultural industry within our valley and a little outside of it. One of the things that happened to me when I was kind of educating myself on how to put one of these together, I went to a Solano County Fair Ag Day, and there was the California Dairy Association had a booth there, and they had all the children sitting down in front, and the teacher said, "Hey, boys and girls, where do you think milk comes from?" And they promptly answered, "Safeway, Lucky's." And then I thought, okay, that pretty much was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. So I too invited the Dairy Association to our event, and what's so wonderful about that one particular station is when they ask that question, and the kids of course answer Safeway, Lucky's, They open the door of the horse trailer and there's a cow, and they proceed to show the children where milk comes from. So we basically did that same thing with every other aspect. We wanted them to know that when you shear a sheep, that wool, what they make from that. When you eat pistachio flavored ice cream, that pistachio actually grows somewhere. And many people, they didn't realize how many years those have been grown in our valley. Honey, where does that come from? We had beekeepers there. We had a cowboy camp of a gentleman that was a cowboy in the 1800s here in Livermore, and what he did to help build our community. So 1,200 students, we cycled them through. This was in the ag department. Those of you that went to Livermore High School know, and back where the greenhouse is. And we cycled them through there. We had a phenomenal time. I raised money thanks to organizations like the Cattlemen's Association, the Cattle Women's, Farm Bureau, Department of Fish and Game, and again, members of our audience that were so gracious in donating. Because of your donations and those, we were able to afford busing to get all the students to Livermore High School. Wells Fargo was another big contributor. They donated backpacks. Our club sponsored the grant money for our lesson plans, part of which I just dropped on the ground. But we were able to put together a lesson plan of the 25 stations. We have in every divider, we have something that talks about every one of those, from Cosmo, the drugs or fruit sniffing dog that's actually a federal agent that has a badge, to the young men that were roping, showing how they would secure animals to properly, treat them or brand them, to showing the small baby doll sheep, which, again, I think a lot of people, there's a disconnect for the children because their parents, or at least this era, they don't, maybe they're not in touch with that and not realizing where, our food comes from and what our community does to help promote that. I think, for me at least, it was an eye-opener having this event. And again, I want to thank everyone that helped me and helped put this together. We are planning one for next year. Our mayor was there, school superintendent, and as well as our county, Scott Haggerty was there, and he wants me to take it to the county fairgrounds and invite Dublin and Pleasanton and our third graders as well. So I'm very excited to do this again. But it was a really heartwarming event, and I enjoyed it very much and look forward to doing it next year. And again, thank you for your support.
Board happenings. What's this board been doing? You hear about this board? Incidentally, any member of this club is invited to attend any board meeting. We typically meet on the third Tuesday of the month at the Hertz Foundation Conference Room, which is over in the building next to the Independent Theater.
Microphone.
Right here.
Not close enough.
What did we do in March? One thing we did was we revised the Constitution and bylaws, and all of you members voted to approve that. We selected the Rodeo Parade Grand Marshal, which is Sheila, and Patty and Chris Ising as the community service. We also inducted Alex Lee into the club. In April, we elected, well, actually, the board approved Bob Jacobs as a new member, but we didn't get to induct him until today. We also modified some policies that the club operates under to bring them into compliance with the bylaws and the Constitution changes. And Paul Thompson is going to tell us about one of the major changes now.
Okay.
Now.
Thanks, Phil. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the new attendance policy and tracking member participation in service activities. A few years ago, I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago, Phil will correct me, but afterwards, we were appointed to be and applied for to be a pilot member of Rotary, a pilot club rather. And specifically on membership, I think, and membership requirements. this allowed us some leeway to design some of our own rules. And one of those rules we changed or allowed was a new form of membership called active engaged, in which we currently have 18 or 19 members now of this club are active engaged. Active engaged membership really allowed for a new member not to have to attend every meeting, but he or she could make up a meeting by working on club projects and other things which I'll get to. Anyway, we've been renewed, I think, now as a pilot club for another 2 years or 3 years. But Rotary International has adopted, really, I'm not sure if it was our doing alone, but adopted new rules as far as attendance and membership is concerned, which are very much like our active engaged membership. So bottom line is, everyone in this room who's a member of this club is now a member of the club, following the rules of our old active engaged. And to make this very simple, what an active engaged member can do, I think I would just mention that, is you must attend one meeting a month. Rotary International actually has slightly different rules, but we're following in principle their rules as far as numbers are concerned, but we're being more constrained as far as the monthly attendance. So what I'm talking about now is monthly attendance. So we obviously would like everybody to be here every week, but that just can't happen. In the olden days, we used to give people awards for being not missing a meeting, and there were some people, I always thought they were a little bit insane or didn't have much of a life to make every meeting, but of course you can make meetings up in foreign countries and things. Anyway, so you are required minimally to attend one meeting of a Rotary club every month, and hopefully that club is going to be our club. You're also required in a gross way to do a minimal of 2 meetings in a month, one of which can be made up at, I may have said something wrong there, so I told Phil, don't correct me till afterwards, and we'll send something out. So minimally 2 meetings a month, one can be made up in several ways. And you obviously can make up either 14 days before or 14 days afterwards a meeting you've missed at another club's meeting, whether in this country or overseas. You can work on a club project before or after for a minimum of 1 hour. You can attend a board meeting. You can attend a committee meeting, but it must be a working committee meeting. You can't just show up one day and just sit there like a bump on a log and listen to what's going on. But you can't do that. If it's a working meeting, that can count as a make-up. You can go to the Rotary International Convention as a make-up, and you can attend certain district meetings as a make-up.
You can also attend an Interact meeting.
And you can also an Interact or Rotaract meeting.
Or go to Ready.
Or go and participate in the READY program, and I actually have made a list of things here, just in case I forgot, which I have. Working on a club project for at least an hour, and this is new to me, spending at least 30 minutes on an e-meeting. Do people know what an e-meeting is? You can, ask somebody who knows how you, you can log on to the district, and there are meetings you can actually attend virtually at an e-meeting for 30 minutes. I think that makes up the sort of meeting. There are some exemptions, and we have probably 50 or 60 people. Does everybody know what the R85 rule is? Yeah. Okay, so if you're 85 years old, you're automatically there. If you're 0, you have to have been in the club for 85 years. But anyway, it's a combination of your term of service in Rotary and your age. If you have that, you don't have to make up. There are no minimal requirements for that, for attendance on a monthly basis. The other thing I'm supposed to talk about is the tracking the member participation in service activities. And to be honest, we've really hit a wall. I'm looking for advice, so the board is looking for advice or suggestions on how we track it. We would like to track it. As somebody just mentioned today, that On the rodeo, well, I mentioned that. On the rodeo parade, we have 60 or so members kicking in 2 or 3 hours. It would be nice, and apparently the district and international is looking for data on our volunteer hours. So tracking it obviously can be a bit of a pain. So if somebody's got some ideas, please come and see Phil or myself or a board member. Is that it, Phil? Did I miss anything? No? Did I do okay?
You did great.
Okay.
We want to remind members, the Habitat for Humanity project is a week from Saturday. Is that right, Christian? You have to hurry up.
Yes.
What'd you do to your hand?
Don't ask.
Very quickly, as Millie said earlier about last Saturday, totally amazing, the turnout, incredible. And from my heart, I want to thank this club, the members, from my heart. It's amazing to get a sign of 29 members for last Saturday. That's amazing. I passed the board for the Habitat, which is coming again on the 10th. The first day, very first day, I got 15 sign-ups. Guess what? They need only 15 people. So I want to thank you from my heart for volunteering all the time. Now, that's an exciting day we're looking at again to change the lives of a veteran family. Think of these guys, how they suffer out there, and many of them, believe it or not, on some documentaries are making less than $70,000 per year to expose their lives in Iraq, Afghanistan and stuff. The adjustment is crazy with these families when they come back. So on that day, on 457 Andrews Street, Livermore, we're going to help Habitat build a house. Again, build a house for a veteran family. Very affordable loans, no gain on the loans whatsoever by put and do the loans, and 0 down payment. How can it be so heartwarming to meet these families later, to know that you helped put that house together? That's amazing. So very quickly, there will be lunch, 30 to 45 minutes, 8:30 to 4 p.m. You're going to arrive on time for the instructions. There might be some relocation instructions early that morning. You don't want to miss it, please. You're going to be so lost if you miss it. Free parking, the donation of $20 required by a volunteer was covered by the club. We're actually giving them $500 for the materials in addition. It's all inside work, take breaks in between. If you have any youth, they cannot be less than 16 years old. If they are, you need to fill out a form online. I'm going to send an elaborate email later, so there are restrictions. Portable toilets, you can bring your own tools, but they're going to provide tools and also documentation of your hours. If you need it, let them know. They're going to document your hours. Within 2 weeks, you're going to get that. So again, I want to challenge you guys again. Actually, I'm not going to challenge because I already have the number of people already again. So I want to just thank you again for making a difference in our community. And again, I'm going to leave you with this. You can't give with a closed fist. When you're giving, you got to open your arms so that they can take what you're giving. But here's the deal. Because you open your arms to give, you're opening your arms to God's blessings to drop in. I don't care to understand how it works. It does work. When you give, it comes back to you 1,000-fold. So thank you so much. Thank you.
One final item, I have 3 numbers to read out. 2, 3, 7.
Oh.
All right.
All right, Ron. This meeting is adjourned.
Very good.